Welcome guys to my channel. This is Sonny Daniels. Today we're talking about 5 scary fighter in the UFC roster at the moment. Top 5 UFC current fighters. Most scariest fighters in the UFC at the roster at the moment. You know, when they talk about UFC, I started watching UFC from the fight of Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Like most of the UFC fans, I think not just me, most of the people got in love with UFC after the Conor and Khabib fight. For me as well, I got in love since that fight, but I even loved it more after the fight of Israel Adesanya against Paulo Costa. You know how that went down. I am still a huge Adesanya fan, and I really loved how the fight played out because there were a lot of chanting from the Brazilians. I mean, no hate from Brazilians. I love Brazilians. I have a lot of Brazilian friends. I'm just saying this because that fight even got me more in love with the UFC. So let's get into the business of today. 5 top UFC scariest fighter at the moment in the UFC. Let's go straight to number 5. For my number 5, there is nobody than the lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev. I mean, this guy is absolute killer. He's good all round. He's very good on the feet, and he can finish in the first round with his ground game. I mean, people from Russia, where he is from, I mean, Khabib, look at the names coming from that place. Man, that gym has brought up a lot of killers. When you look at him, when he's starting his fight, he's going for the kill. He's not even expect, you don't expect Islam Makhachev to end the round in a decision. I mean, most of the 2 of his fights have gone into decision, but it's been bloody. Just to let you know the kind of killer instinct this guy has. I mean, somebody who has defended this title more than 3 to 4 times is absolute stud. You know, somebody that come from the gym of Khabib. We all know how scary Khabib is. And when you talk of scary dude, Islam Makhachev, for me, there is nobody that's going to be in that 5th position than Islam, the lightweight champion, Makhachev. Let's go to number 4. My number 4 could easily be top 2. But because of the people we get to have above him when it comes to scary dude, I mean, they have no option to put him in that position number 4, because when you talk of a lot of, remember, UFC doesn't have just 5 fighters. UFC have more than 100 fighters. I think more than 500 fighters. I don't know. Somebody let me know in the comment down below. UFC have a lot of fighters. So for him to be the top 5, it's a huge achievement. And I'm saying it just for my own opinion. I also like to know your opinion, because I'm not just saying it that it is the way it is. I'm giving you my own opinion on being the top scariest fighters in the UFC at the moment. So my number 4 has to be with somebody else, nobody else than Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, the middleweight. Look at the middleweight. Look at everybody in that middleweight. Look at the way they are. Look at the skillers they are. And you put Khamzat Chimaev in that mix. Do you remember the fight he had against Kamaru Usman? That stare. And we all know how Khamzat Chimaev fight. His fight is only first round. I mean, he had two fights between him and Gilbert Burns and Kamaru Usman, which went 5-rounder. But the rest of his fight got into first round. The way he finished the legendary Rob Whittaker. I mean, Khamzat Chimaev has to be one of the scariest dude in the UFC at the moment. This howler, the way he shouts, I kill everybody, I finish everybody. And he does that. When you're fighting Khamzat Chimaev, you have to be very ready for the first round. I mean, it's no coincidence that he's called the Wolf, because he goes, he search for his prey, and when he gets his prey, he finishes them in that first round. If you can survive Khamzat Chimaev in the first round, you can survive anything in this life in the first round. Believe what I'm saying, because Khamzat Chimaev for me is one of the most scariest dude in the UFC roster. So let's go to number 3. My number 3 is the legendary, the MMA GOAT. Like, there is no one you could tell me now. You won't come here and tell me that throughout his whole career, right, he has been the champion. It's not scary. He's the youngest ever UFC champion and still a champion up to today, beating up to 3-4 generations of fighters. And when he's in that stage, when he's in that cage, anything can come from him. Be ready for anything because he's so good. His ground game is massive. His stand-up game is incredible. So who else, guys? The MMA GOAT, John Bones Jones. For me, is my number 3 when it comes to UFC most scariest fighter in the current roster. I mean, John Bones Jones, unarguably, is the best fighter in the history of the MMA. I mean, there are lots of MMA fighters. When you put John Bones Jones in a ring, you know that fight is not ending in a different way. You see the way he finished Cyril Gane. If you say, okay, if you come out and argue with me, oh, John Bones Jones is not supposed to be in this list, go watch John Jones fight. People has finished Rampage, Rashad Evans, DC, Chael Sonnen. There are a lot of names he has finished. When it comes to the heavyweight, Cyril Gane, which took Francis Ngannou a hard time to figure out. He finished Cyril Gane in 1 minute. Just finished Stipe Miocic, who is arguably the greatest UFC heavyweight champion. He finished him in the second round. I mean, the fight wasn't even a competition. It wasn't competitive. So guys, for me, John Jones has to be my number 3. And if you look at the names coming up, my number 5, Islam Makhachev, number 4, Khamzat Chimaev, number 3, John Jones. And who else is not going to be the number 2 than the heavyweight interim champion? That guy have been beating everybody in the first 2 minutes. It's not the first round. Don't get me wrong, guys. He's not beating people for the first round. He's never gone 5 rounds in his UFC career. He has never gone 5 rounds. He has never gone second round, and he has never finished the first round. He finished his opponent in the first 1 to 2 minutes. I think the highest was his last fight against Justin Blade, and he finished him in the first 2 minutes. There is nobody that is more scarier. He could easily be the number 1, but I put him in this number 2 because it could cause a little bit of, back and forth between the MMA community. But I just think he should be the second. And I'm talking no one than Tom Aspinall. I mean, Tom Aspinall is a heavyweight, massive fighter. One punch knockout, submit you, is very good. I mean, he's an interim heavyweight champion for a reason. That guy fight never ends in the first round. That guy fight the first 2 minutes. If you could survive Tom Aspinall in the first 2 minutes, damn, you're a tough guy. So that brings me to my number 1. For me, the current scariest UFC fighter at the roster now, for me, is Poatan Pereira. My goodness, I mean, he's already a superstar. Doubt me, guys. Just come here and tell me that Poatan is not a scary fighter. Poatan in the fight week looks like a killer. Looks like a war god. When he shaves his hair, when he stare you on the face, and when he paints his face and ready for war, it's like this guy is locked in. And his fight always deliver. He has knocked out more than 6 champions from the middleweight to the light heavyweight. I mean, that guy is scary. And I think for me, the scariest walkout has to be him. I mean, when you see him coming, guys, and he just twist his arrow and just smack you. I mean, it's iconic. It's iconic. I think there is nobody that has a better walkout than Alex Pereira. And for me, he is my number 1 UFC currently most scariest fighter in the roster. Guys, let me know what you think, my guys. Like I said, 5 scariest dude currently in the UFC. And let me know what you think about the video. Number 5, Makhachev. Number 4, Khamzat Chimaev. Number 3, John Jones. Number 2, Thomas Pinot. And number 1, Alex Poatan Pereira. Like, comment, subscribe, and catch you soon.